Hi guys, first of all, thank you Michelle, she's my hero for the next 6 weeks. Well, she's always my hero, but for the Tuesdays. And thank you for working with us this week. There were some technical issues, so hence we have you on your phones. Or if anybody, now that most of you guys are here, if anybody would rather the printout, there are copies, if that makes life easier for anybody. So much. Oh my God, I love it. I just didn't want to destroy the environment by printing too many. Someone else? No, you good? Anybody else? Anybody down this end? Everybody else good? Okay. Can everybody hear me, or do you feel I need to be on the microphone? Can anybody not hear me? Because we have had comments in the past about hearing, so I don't want that in our negative comments again. Everybody's good? Okay, so the plan is we split you, because what I'm thinking I'm going to do is, my idea is I'm not going to be clipping an entire horse. I'm not going to put too much clipping per se. I'm just going to like show you, but not actually clip him, if that makes sense. So my idea is we'll bring him out occasionally, and I'll show you on one side, and then I'll show the same demonstration on this side, okay? We figured that way everybody can see something rather than the back people not being able to see down there. Does that work for everybody? Everybody will be happy with that. Okay, well, before I even start that, I should have said, like Michelle said, this is our third year. I'm gobsmacked at how well this is going, and the Grooms committee that we are supporting, I'm part of. Thank you so much for attending these and for supporting the Grooms committee. Like, our goal is to encourage grooms into the sport, but also we want to help those grooms at shows, educate them, become better horse people, you know, but at the same time look after themselves. And us, the professional grooms, like to be at these shows, and we want to be able to have the time to be there for the up and coming grooms. So that's part of what the Grooms Committee do. And we do a lot at the 2 5 stars to really sort of showcase what we do. But these education series here and in Ocala are really the way we try and pull everybody in. So as I say, tonight we're about best clipping practices. Feel free to ask questions. We'll probably keep questions to the end just so that we don't like spit here at 10 o'clock tonight. I am more than open to, you know, obviously you guys know I've my grooming side of life, so if you have any questions outside of clipping, wait till the end. I'm more than happy to discuss any questions at all, okay? So now I had it all planned out on the computer, so now I've got to readjust my way of thinking. But so one of the reasons I wanted to do clipping is because it's very important how we take care of our horses. And again, having go through so many barns, I see a lot of we're just going to clip because that's the easiest thing for the owner, or maybe it's the easiest thing for the barn. And anybody that knows me knows I promote what's best for the horse. So a lot of today is, my first section is what are we clipping, why are we clipping, what type of clip? And I will say once all this has come together, at the end I've got a handy dandy blanketing guide, because this is my one question I get asked at every clinic I do. What blanket do you put on? So if anybody wants to print out for a barn, there is a clipping guide and blanket guide available here. And I am noting it's a guide, because my other saying is horses are individuals. So please think about that. But anyway, we do have that. So why do we clip? Everybody's got this in front of them, for the comfort of the horse. So is it sweating? Is it sweating too much, not being able to cool down? I would say pretty much in our winter, that's what most people think about, right? You've gone out riding, you've got all sweated up, oh my God, it's taking 2 hours to chill it out. Do you have time at the barn for 2 hours for him to cool out? Is that good for his muscles to be standing damp for 2 hours? Probably not. So I do put comfort of the horse as number one. Engage with that, or in with that, is easier to manage in the winter. So yes, we now travel, there's a lot of snowbirds, we go north to south. I think Aiken's Aiken, I hate to say it, has turned a little bit more winterish. I always give the story of like when I first came back in 2000, like you got maybe 2 days of, jacket weather, and then I felt the rest of the year you were literally in a t-shirt, But now you pack your heavies and you have to bring your heavies with you. So I feel there isn't too much actual difference between whether you're in Massachusetts or here right now. Like you still got to bring those winter clothing and take care of your horses the same way. You go to Florida, then we've got a whole different situation. All right, so Florida, you're sort of, you're going to have to clip your horses. You're going to be working regularly in higher degree weather and humidity as well sometimes. Major skin conditions. So we might not need to clip all the horse, but if your horse, another big question, how do I deal with skin conditions? A lot of skin conditions are because the coat is left damp for too long, and that gives the great environment for bacteria to grow, and then you get your nice little rain rot, and you get your scabs on your legs. So sometimes clipping is necessary to get back all the hair, let it dry quickly so that we can treat the skin, and then we can start fresh and hopefully have some nice hair growth come in without the irritated skin. Aesthetics should be the last reason we're clipping, right? We shouldn't just clip because we think it looks good. Someone just told me today how they have a client that's got a 24-year-old that they insist on it being clipped out in Pennsylvania throughout the winter, and it doesn't even do anything. Okay, that's a wrong answer as far as I'm concerned. It could lead into the next one, which is if your horse has Cushing's or insulin resistance. So if your horse has that double coat, if it can't shed a coat, if they can't thermoregulate, you might have to clip. But you know what? You don't have to clip out a Cushing's horse in the winter in Pennsylvania. We can do less. Okay? So has anyone else got another reason they might decide to clip that I might have missed? I can guarantee I've probably missed something. No other reasons, cool. All right, so what do we think about, sorry, sir?
What about summer clipping?
Summer clipping, so that goes into the weather, right? Like, did I even say weather? Or the comfort of the horse.
Yeah.
So again, that goes into workload, particularly eventing. So if you are doing endurance and your horse needs to cool out very fast, then you might end up clipping your horse. If your horse doesn't sweat very well, you're going to clip your horse. If you know your horse finished whatever endurance it is, if you know your horse comes in high. So I did have a horse that didn't really matter the temperature. He always came in between 104 and 106. I would clip that horse for any summer event because I knew I had to be able to cool him out as fast as possible with evaporation. So yeah, to me, the clipping, the old saying is you don't clip after the spring solstice. Yes, that to me isn't a thing. Like you clip when your horse needs it. Okay, I try not to clip when the spring coat is coming in, but again, if that's 2 weeks before Kentucky, the horse got clipped. So I play along with that. So what to think about when choosing the style of clip? So this comes back to location. Is your horse up in the snow? Is it out 24/7? Does it have shelter? Does it come in during rain? Snow and rain? Who knows? You have to think about that. Workload, how sweaty is it getting? You might not want to clip, but what's your workload? Are you riding 3 times a week and he doesn't barely get sweaty? Are you riding him and he just gets girth area sweaty? Or are you out there doing your canters and he's coming in and just staying that wet for so long? So really think about your workload. And then this is a big one. Who is the primary caretaker? Where is your horse located? Who's taking care of it? Who's the one switching the blankets? And I know we all love our blankets, but if you are not the one that has to go out at 7 o'clock at night and put on another blanket, or change it, or I don't know, make sure they're not too hot, then you need to think about what that crew, what those workers have to do. Because I know a lot of barns implement exactly what the horse can wear. And they will have a certain range. They're like heavyweights at this temperature, mediums here, and that's the range, that's it. They stipulate what blanket to put on. They don't want leg straps. Leg straps are a pain in the ass. They don't want liners, anything with the double liners. When you've got a lot of horses, blanket, liners are a pain in the ass. You know, we'd rather have two mediums and a heavy and layer than deal with a liner. If you want a liner, you're doing your own horse. But really think about that. If you aren't the one who has to regularly change the blankets, then maybe don't, you know, fully body clip your horse, okay? Speak to the staff members that do have to change the blankets and be like, is it okay if we clip this way? Will he be okay with this style of clip? I always get asked about legs and head. If your horse is living out most of the time and doesn't get to come in like, you know, the weather we had Friday, then they need their heads and their legs. If that's a tall thing, they need their heads and their legs, right? They need that natural protection. So again, something else to think about. And there was something else, but I've already forgotten it. Oh, the whole north and south thing. So that was the two things: location, workload, primary care. Oh, the time you have to call him out. So again, if you don't have the time to put away a fully dry horse, you might want to think about maybe taking off a little extra coat so that quickens up that whole cooling out process for you guys. Obviously, a clipped horse is a lot easier to cool out, and I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips later on. But if they, you know, if you only have half an hour and your horse has a full coat and they're sweating like crazy and you don't have the time to change the blankets, that's bad for your horse. You're putting away a horse that's going to be damp. So, you know, really question that. Okay, so we are going to pull the guy out. He is being a very good boy. Good boy. And obviously, please just all bear with us, and hopefully this is Louis, he'll remain good. And hopefully this works. Do you mind if I draw on him? No. Okay. Hi, Louis. You got to say hi to everybody. What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? If anybody's got a better way of how we're going to do this is fine. Oh, I forgot I need... Hey, sweetheart. Hi, buddy. Hi. All right, I think if he starts to move that way, just try, obviously, turn his head that way so his butt goes this way, if that makes sense. I think I've got to get this wet, so. I don't know. Okay, I've got this fancy dancy chalk, so we'll see if this works. Although he's partly got some of the styles anyway. So obviously we have our choices of clip. I started out with the trace clip, but there's actually multiple trace clips. I love a trace clip, especially up north, if your horses are getting turned out. It normally covers the sweaty areas, but leaves their back nice and warm, leaves their legs, leaves their head. So it really is a very versatile clip. Now then, you can actually have one, so you've got a bib, you've got a steeplechase, and then you've got your regular chase. So does anybody know what I mean by a bib? Is there anyone a bib? Yeah, so here we go. So a bib clip, I would actually leave his entire face on, so his entire face, but I would come down, it's sort of working. I would actually just come down and take the jugular out, but you go down through their legs. You don't come above the leg, you literally just go down the middle and you would take out the belly. So you literally just, you can call it bib, some people call it bellying out. Really great clip for any of you that have school ponies. You know, you can just literally take out this area that can get a little warm. They cool out super easy. You know, 40-degree day, they don't even need blankets. Like, they're really fine to stay naked because all their main areas are covered. So that's a bib clip. Then there's the steeplechase clip, which is one of my favorites, and you can basically go anywhere, how low or high you want. I typically take off half the head. So when I say half the head, I'm going to come down the side. So I end up on the cheekbone. So all of this is coming off. And then I'll come back to you guys in a minute. So the actual steeplechase can go anywhere. You can take all the neck, or I could just go from the middle of the neck and I come down through to the bottom of the flank. Again, leaving the legs on. So this is, I'd come down through, good boy, Louis. He's like, I'm gonna look like a, I don't know what we call it, but. Okay, so you can see that's a really good, you know, this is really good if you, again, I would say up north down here, hunting deals with a lot of the sweaty area, but good for keeping their backs warm again. I actually really like this one for hunting. Pleasure riding, you know, stuff like that. Again, keeping their backs warmed, their legs, they've got protection. You don't have to take off the head. Some people leave the head here. You know, and some people, obviously their horses don't like it, so they don't clip their heads at all. All right? What would you like next? And then the regular trace clip, we can have a high or a low one. But when I say regular trace clip, good boy, it is typically, we come to about half the neck, and you come across, you do a nice little fancy U, and then you come here. So again, we're keeping the neck warm. So we come across here, fancy like this, and then across. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. The only reason I don't do this one very much is because it takes a lot of skill to get this line real straight. And very personally, like I do this line, and then this line ends up being up here or down here, and you end up, you say sorry. But anyway, I like to be truthful with everybody, okay? But again, a really good clip, takes out the sweat area, keeps their back warm, and also, but this one you can play with height as well. Like some people will, you know, come up higher, some people will come down lower. So again, just a super well-maintained clip if your horse lives out, something like that. And then the other one I forgot, the blanket clip, which hopefully is a little bit self-explanatory. You just literally take all the neck off and join it in with so you literally take the neck off and join it in with the trace clip. So you literally basically have a quarter sheet left on your horse. All right. If your horse lives out with this clip, I do feel that they need a neck on their blankets, especially if they're in like the 30, you know, below 35 weather, wet and raining. They really have lost all their neck protection. You know, the trace clip, they've still got protection from, you know, the top half of their neck. Again, that's my personal opinion. You guys have to decide from there. Good boy. Ignore the wrong walking behind horses situation. Okay, so moving on, we got the hunter clip. Okay, so some people get a little bit confused with the hunter, what the actual hunter clip is. So the hunter clip, you always leave legs on. You do not have to leave the saddle patch on. There are literally, like, people ask me, why do you leave a saddle patch? I actually always take them off. But, you know, if you feel your saddle might rub, something like that, or invariably in the winter, the saddle sort of sometimes shifts this way, and when it does do that in the winter, the hair easily rubs here. And it is from the saddle doing a little bit of this, and that's what's causing that rub there. So in the winter, a horse's hair is actually hollow. So that is why there is so much more rubbing of their hair in the winter, because it's a lot more brittle. Okay, so that's, again, I'll cover that a bit later in how we take care of them. All right, do you want to? You can just hold him in his stall. So, and then obviously a full clip, everything comes off. There isn't any hair left on him. So that's our style of clip. How long should it take me to do? Yeah, someone just said, how good are your clippers? I was like, yep. Honestly, there are a few. How clean is the horse is number one. If you do not have a clean horse, it's going to take you double the time. How good is the horse is your second option. Because if your horse is a little bit, you know, like he's fine with it, but he's a little nervy, then you've got to go a lot slower. But, so that's, you know, those are your two main things in how long it should take you. A full clip, you know, if you get up to a lot of experience, you should be able to do a full clip in 2 hours. Serious professionals do a full clip in like an hour, which I have not mastered that, so, unless it's like a miniature pony that doesn't have the space. So that's sort of what I'm aiming. But before we can even start clipping, it's important to think about your own safety and having everything ready, which is why I've made a slide about this. Having a tidy area that you can reach things very quickly. So what I mean by that is have a table or something set up with all your items on, so that you're not having to stop and think, oh, where's that? Where have I got to go? Have everything from your oils. So I've actually got 3 different types of oils here. I've got my spray oil, regular clipping oil, which I always recommend get the oil related to your clippers. So if you do oysters, get oyster oil. If you do Andis, get Andis oil, because they have particularly manufactured their own oil that's for their clippers, so it's best to stick with the manufacturer. And then I really like this 7-in-1, and I just use that to dip my clippers in and clean. And then this is one of my favorite things, compressed air. So awesome for like cleaning your clippers after. This one's a bit, I've nearly used it all. But it's really good for getting all that hair out from under your clippers. And I'm going to show you guys later changing the blade drive. And then lots of towels, wiping off, brush for brushing the horse and your clippers. And then one of my favorite products to have is I mix witch hazel with Shapley's #1 light oil. And I can spray that on them on a towel, and it brings up all the dirt, but it also leaves a nice little bit of oil so the clippers can glide through a lot easier. Yep, and then I continue to do that through the clip, because especially if you have a dirty horse. If you have a dirty horse, it is good at lifting the dirt, and then you can go back over and see all the lines that you've missed before. So making sure you have extension leads. Yes?
Could you please repeat that bit about the Shapley's oil?
Yeah, so witch hazel mixed with Shapley's oil. Yeah, and I do about, I would say I do about 6 parts to 1.
Can you rub it in with a towel?
If a horse doesn't let you spray, then I use a towel. I put it on a towel. Most horses, if they'll let me spray, I spray on and then rub it in.
Against the hair?
Just, you can stroke it in, or, you know, wax on, wax off. Whatever. Yeah. Don't overdo it, but just sort of, it's thinking about a nice light mist.
6 of witch hazel and
1, yes. You don't want to overdo the oil, otherwise you can't. If you can't spray it, you've got too much oil in there, okay? So extension leads. If you have clippers with extension leads, I see way too many people, they have too short extension leads and they're like throwing it over the horse's back or it's going under the belly. Just should be a no-no in everybody's case situation. Making sure you have it be able to go all the way around. You know, it's stating the obvious, but I'm going to state the obvious. And then I strongly admit, has anyone never clipped before? Oh, that's fair. Okay. I was going to say, because if you are clipping a strange horse, or if it's your first time, please have a helper with you. Okay? It's just it's safer. End of story. Just always have a helper with you. And then going back to the time thing, make sure you have enough time to complete the job in a safe manner, that you're not going to like, oh my God, I got to speed up and I got to go. The trouble with clipping is it is very easy to spook the horse. And once you have spooked a horse, you're going to then have problems the next time and the next time and the next time. So always think about the time you have available. And if you need your horse to have a pee break, let him have a pee break. Like, he's been standing there forever whilst you're like, this line isn't perfect. All right, so if he starts to get a little bit antsy, he could just need a pee break. All right, so think about that. And then blade length. I always go over this. For body clipping, you're pretty much using a 10, which cuts about 1.5. That is the short side. It wouldn't be what I necessarily use here. I like my T84s. They cut to 2.4. And that's for so these are the T84s. No, there's a T10 on there. Anyway, not my clippers. So this is your T84. And Anders now do like these, what we call wide blades. So this 10 wide, this is perfect for those double coated, can't get through the coat ponies. And maybe if you have the cushions horses with the double coats, anything like that. This is like the best blade they've come out with for that. Like the T84 isn't going to get through it. The T10 has too short a blade, but this will get through it.
What is the name of that?
So this is a 10 wide, okay? And then, so your other blades, 15, 30, 40, those are more for tidying up your horses. Your 30 and your 40 is really surgical if you've got to clean up any wounds. So your 15 is good for, tidying the ears and stuff like that, tidying the feathers, especially in the summer. But otherwise, even in the winter, your T84s or your 10s should be enough for tidying up, okay? And then, did I cover all that? How to, have everything ready to go, clutter-free, sort of.
So you use the same clippers for the whole horse?
Yeah, whatever I want to do, I just use the same clipper and change blades if I've got to change blades for any reason.
To change the blades, you don't have to do anything else. Okay.
Turn them on. And off we go. Oh, hey! That's it. No, none of that tension, you have to like put the blades together and do the tension thing. Couldn't do that anymore. But they have their AGC two splees, the maroon ones. Everybody used to have the maroon ones. They're great. Like, I was just speaking to someone yesterday that they're like, I've had the AGCs to 12 years. They're still going. So it's all whatever's in your price point. But they've got top class clippers there available. So I said I wasn't going to do questions right now, but any questions thus far that we haven't come right up? Yes.
Why in the steeplechase would you ever want to clip a space? Why even bother? What's the benefit? To keep them clean?
So you mean here? Like why leave it here? Just for sweat marks. If you got super sweaty around the face, a lot of horses come in and they get sweaty all through here. So So, yeah, but it's totally, you know, again, it goes back to you knowing your horse. You know,
I was just curious.
yeah. And, you know, a lot of people will do all these clips and still leave all the face on. It's totally fine. You do what's right for your horse.
Where do you find the big chalk, fat chalk that's supposed to be
Well, I hate to tell you this, guys, but actually a friend gave me that who was given it from someone in Germany. But Shapleys actually do a showing chalk that people use for whitening socks. So you can use that, does the same thing. Yeah. But no, it's so, I used to use masking tape, but since I found that, it's like night and day difference, right? So, sorry, buddy. Okay, so I just wanted to give you, I've sort of just a couple of cleaning tips. If you cannot bathe your horse, and I understand there are plenty of times you cannot, you know, some of you don't have heated wash doors if it's like 25 degrees and you really need to clip your horse, whatever, you don't have availability of hot water. I always say there's probably a way you can maybe get a heated water bucket, get a kettle. There is some way of getting some hot water and then using your oil, add that to the bucket. And again, you can do the whole toweling and you would just towel all through your horse like this. If you did this for 2 to 3 days prior to wanting to clip, oh, thank you. If you did this 2 or 3 days prior to wanting to clip, you would be surprised how clean you can get the horse. So hot water, again, you can add some witch hazel, you can add some Shapley's No. 1 light oil. Really, you know, curry them very well and then do that with a damp rag. You can get a horse quite clean. So you don't, you know, yes, ideally you would bath, but if you can't, at least do this hot toweling method, okay? It's also one of my favorite methods when you're cooling out a clipped horse. I use my hot toweling a lot so that I'm not drenching the horse every time it comes in from a workout. And it really does great things for their coat because it's adding moisture back in. So again, tying it back to their winter coats are hollow and dry. We're always trying to get moisture in their coats in the winter. So No. 1, currying, absolute must, should be your favorite thing to do with your horses. But then have some sort of conditioning. There's that pink lotion. I don't like that so much because it's lanolin and it tends to just, I feel it tends to sit on the surface, not really penetrate. I feel that these oils are a lot better and actually go into their skin and help them produce a nice natural oil for their coats. So keep that in mind. But always, there's no excuse for not having cleaner horses for clipping. Pet peeves. Good boy. Yep.
I'm just trying to understand, Emma, so it's the winter time, I have horses not clipped, so at the end of riding, I would take a hot towel with the witch hazel.
Yep. You've probably picked up by now my witch hazel and oil is my favorite thing.
And if I do the horse is going to be clipped 2-3 days in advance,
Yeah.
then I'm getting the hairs ready to
Yes, it helps pull out the dirt. Yes, yeah. No, that's perfect. And really, if you feel that you've got the horse too wet, then just take a dry towel and, you know, towel them off. But you're not drenching them that much. Does that make sense? You know, and also, you know, like I say, so many barns don't have hot water, but I'm like, have a kettle at home and fill up a plastic thing with enough hot water you can take to the barn or something, you know, so. You're being very good. I feel like I want to put a blanket on his quarters a minute. They're doing the right thing in front. Oh dear.
What kind of blanket is that?
I think it's a Thermotex. I'll have to. Good boy. Oh, there we go. We'll just keep his butt covered. Good man. were prepared, but we don't need it. Okay, sorry, back here. All right. Make sure I stay. Okay, so actually going on to the clipping, probably common sense, but always start on a large muscle group. Again, I like the shoulder, less likely to be kicked. If they're on cross ties, hopefully they won't bite you. But again, that's, to me, that's the most common sense place to start. So always the shoulder. And then using your free hand. I see a lot of people clipping and they're just doing nothing with their free hand and they're just like up and down. Always having your free hand on them whilst you're clipping. This hand is giving you information. Is he moving? Is he starting to get tensed up? Whether I'm clipping, you know, if I'm doing a leg, I'm down low. But if I'm doing his belly, my other hand is on top of his back. It is always giving me information, okay? So always have your spare hand somewhere. And then the biggest, I'm going to call it a myth. Everybody's learned when you clip, you always clip against the horse's coat, against the direction of the hair, which you do. Your first clips, maybe I'll do you normally use the 10s?
Or the 80.
Yeah. Okay. We're using the 10s. All right, good boy. He seems very good about this. So I'll do a bit your side of the mitt. Okay, so I'm going to start off going against the coat. And I'm going to see if I can do a badge. Okay, so I want to get this off. The T10s do a good job, but when I want to get this off, I'm actually going to go against a different direction and do what I call the star clip. Because if I change my direction, I'm then going to get all the hair. Okay, so there's nothing wrong, like I just get away from the fact that, oh, well, I always go against the coat. You go in whatever way removes the hair, okay? And if some horses have a very tighter coat, you might have to, you'll actually go almost 45 angle to get a lot of the hair off first. Does that make sense? All right, so we even them up. Okay, so we're always taught this way. I'm really sorry, I'm very right-handed. We're always taught this way. Oh look, see, I did a bad job there, that's good. So when we get these lines, people will either leave them, because they're like, well, I've gone the right direction, or you can just take the clipper and find out, there you go, almost 45 degrees that way is what got rid of that hair. So don't get stuck and always going that way. Does that make sense? Did I call it my star technique? I think that's what I called it in the thing. So I'm just always like, if I ever get stuck, I just move the clipper around until I'm like, okay, that works that way. Look how pretty you look. So these are actually the T10s. So these are quite, this is only the 1.5 left. It's quite short. So, okay, star technique, and then, how are we doing on time? Yeah.
7:25.
Okay, and then basically, obviously paramount, check your blade temperature, okay? Always check your blade temperature on the back of your hand. I recommend doing this probably every 5 minutes, all right? If your horse starts to move, if he's been really good and all of a sudden he starts to get fidgety, your temperature is the first thing to go to, because he tends to tell you that the temperature's hot. If it's not the temperature, then he could want to pee, depending on how long you've been doing it, okay? So always be checking the temperature. And then you probably see there, you cannot over oil when clipping. have a game, even if you put it in your phone every 2 minutes, have an alarm going off every 2 minutes, something like that, because it's very easy to like get in the zone and just keep going, and then all of a sudden the horse is getting antsy and you're like, oh crap, your blades are hot. So really think about clip oiling every 2 minutes. And I was joking with Michelle, these are clean jeans, but they're my clipping jeans. So I'm like, you can also already see how I wipe my oil off on my jeans. But obviously use a towel, something like that, to wipe the excess oil off. You're being so good. And then moving on to the tricky areas. So I always find everybody, yep.
So there's like the blade freezer, blade cooler.
Yeah. Okay, so your actual clipper oil is what benefits the motor. So this is what keeps the motor running smoothly. These do a little bit motor, but this is mainly your blades. This is all about cleaning your blades, cooling your blades, disinfecting your blades. So you need both. You cannot just use one or the other.
So every 2 minutes, are you using them both? Or
I will use a ton of this, and then I really like this dipping one. Like I run my blades in this for 10 seconds. Yep. You just do not, the blade's it. You do not like dunk the whole clipper in. But I really like this one. So, so basically, I think the best way to think about it is alternate them, yeah. But yeah, some people just use this, but that isn't doing anything for your blades. You've got to interchange them for the, good for the temperature of the clippers, but also to keep your blades nice and fresh. I'm getting tongue twisted here.
How did you dip them?
Okay, so this is the Andis Blade Care Plus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you use that, how often do you put like the regular oil on your clippers?
I probably use this more and then oil, I don't know, every 10 minutes.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yeah. Because this is definitely more of a lubricant, obviously, than the spray thing. Yeah. So. Everybody has their own way of doing it, and I'm like, if it works for you, you guys do it. So. Yeah. I clipped a horse out, anyway, long story, but up in Maine, and they're like, we're having real trouble with the clippers, and I used their clippers because I didn't have mine, and I was oiling them literally every 2 minutes I was oiling. They're like, wow, you oil them a lot. They're like, we only do it at the beginning and the end. I'm like, oh God. No wonder you're having trouble with your clippers. Oh dear. Okay, so oil are very important. Tricky areas. Everybody has their favorite tricky area. Who hates doing the head? Everybody happy with the head? Who likes doing the legs, elbows, stifles? Elbows. Okay, so I'm sure I've done a lot of videos on this, but the easiest way with the legs is to have help and make sure someone lifts up their leg and bring it forward. And that is the best way to get underneath and around the leg. Good boy. Just don't have them, some people will come down and hold the toe as well. That is so bad for their legs. You're then stretching their tendon and ligaments, which are not meant to stretch like that. So just ask them to hold the knee. Good boy. And then bring it forward. And if necessary, you can have them bring the knee back and just open the leg out slightly so it opens up their chest. If you are on your own and you need to do this, then I pick up the leg and I start just by holding the fetlock and go where I can. And then if the horse lets me, I slip his leg behind mine, and then I can do that area. And as you can see, it stretches out that area. Again, it's very much if the horse allows me to do that. So then I can just have more space there, okay? So I always go a little bit by feel on that one. And we'll see how he feels. Any loose skin, you just have to be stretching the skin. So like when it comes to their jugular, as you can see, he's super relaxed. It's actually easy, when a horse is a little ticklish and they go a little like this, it's actually easier to do their neck. But always, good boy. I'm just always pulling everything to the side so that everything's nice and stretched. Good boy. So I'm always like holding it open, if that makes sense. I'm not just leaving it shut, I'm pushing it open so that it's flat. Good boy. What was that? You know, I'm real busy tomorrow all day. Oh, that looks bad right there, doesn't it? Oh dear. This will be a do as I say, not as I do type of. So anyway, so again, safety-wise, good boy, don't hurt me. I don't want to be down here, right? Like I've actually have done this and I've been kicked in the knee. Or, you know, the knees come to the head. So, you know, don't be tempted to do that. But then you just need to stay at the front. And again, these walls are especially difficult. Make sure you're pulling the skin and going down with it. The center, pull the skin and come across. Don't try and just do it on relaxed skin, because that actually creates more problems. And you are actually more likely to catch the skin and cut the skin if you don't pull it tight. All right, so please really think about that. And then, especially for the chest area, I can guarantee you always have to like go one way and then you have to come back and go the other, because the hair is just going every which way possible. All right, so that's the chest. You have been so good. Good boy. Good boy. Good man. Good boy. Okay, the good old stifle. Wonderful. I don't really have anything too major here, apart from this is where your spare hand should really be used. We all know they have the big skin twitch reaction. They cannot help the skin twitch reaction. It's like a fly landing on them. You cannot get mad at them every time they do it. It's literally something they cannot control themselves. So depending on how bad they are, number one, I always make sure I run my hand down first and see how they are to my hand, because if they're super tight to my hand, they're going to be very ticklish. And then if they are slightly tight, I actually end up holding the clippers just in one place until the twitch has relaxed a bit. And then I try and clip that area. And then the same thing again, I put them on and I hold them, let it relax, and then I clip a little bit more. So it takes time, but you can get it done eventually, obviously unless you have that one horse that absolutely does not want that area done. And then the main thing, if they will let you, that I can advise on here, good boy, is if he will let you, I always like to hold the inside of that, the bottom of the flank and top of the stifle, and then do this area with it held out, if they will let you. But really think about that. Use your hand first. Make sure that see what their twitch response is. So he's not too twitchy. He's a bit twitchier this side. Good boy. Good lad. And let him get used to that. And then let the twitch happen so that the muscle sort of is a little tired. And then I would do the same with the clippers running. We'll just turn them on and see what he does. Good boy. So I can't demonstrate because he's not good about it. But if the horse is real twitchy, I would just stand here and wait the twitch out. And then I would go, and he'll move, you'll get so much done, and then you'll have to do the same thing again. And you just have to take it time and take it quietly. And then the other thing, if they will let you do it, good boy, I like to just pull the skin out to do this area so that I have it nice and flat, and again, don't risk. Here, I can show you this way. I'll pull the skin out like this, just so again, you're not risking cutting that very sensitive area there. All right?
I have a silly question. If
Yeah.
you're doing a trace,
Yes.
where on a gelding, like where do you end underneath?
So like steeplechase,
Well, like if the trace, you know how the trace comes down.
this one down here. So aesthetically, you should come to the point.
Right, but underneath?
Oh, underneath, yes, I take everything out. If they'll let me, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if they'll let you, you know. Yours loves this, how he's if they don't like it, then I will purposely, like, you know, I will come down maybe here and leave that area. Yeah, no. Especially if it gets sweaty, you know, I definitely would take it. What else did we do? Neck, leg lines, stifler, lower leg. Oh, neck. I get a lot of, well, let's do leg lines now. As you can see, this guy has his leg lines done. Basically, think about where the bottom of the hamstring is to the top, or the top of the stifle, bottom of the flank. Okay? That is your line. That's your muscle line to follow. And then in the front leg, you always want to go elbow to where the bottom of the shoulder, right in here. Follow that muscle line. For me, it's about, that is about aesthetics, right? Like some people will come across and just cut off right here. And to me, I'm like, it just looks real dumb. So, I mean, it's like taking something and making it look shorter. So I always follow bottom and then think about the bottom of their hamstrings. And then in front, we're gonna go, as you can see, he's elbow to the divot in front, bottom of their shoulder, top of their leg. Okay, so they're the typical points. And if you can get them done in one sweep, that is your best bet. It does depend on which way the hair's lying. So let's see. I'm trying to challenge myself. All right, good boy. Can you just, good boy, step him that way. Sorry, I just don't have enough room myself here. Come on, buddy. He's like, ah, good boy. So when I'm on my right side, I'm thinking about creating a V at this bottom. Actually, turn him around. I'll turn him around for you guys in a minute. Put his butt towards these guys. There we go. And again, good boy. Thank you. So I want a V here. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Do you need to? Are we good? Working with horses, it's great. Oh dear. Okay, so my first line, I'm actually going to do my short line first. All right, so I'm going to come in to the center. Good boy. Good man. And just go up diagonal. Say it again. Yes, all I'm concentrating is I want that line in there. Okay, so now that I've got this one, I want to parallel, am I using the right word? Parallel. And then that just sends me in the right direction to do this line. Good boy. That's how I get the, you are being really good, Louis. Come on, sweetheart. There you go, good boy. So now I'm already in the right direction. Good lad. Ah, see? Working with horses. That's not too bad. Good boy. Okay, so I always try and do it in one sweep. And as Sheila was saying, don't worry about your full blade. Worry about the edge that you're trying to make the line straight with. So push that edge in a little bit tighter so that you can get it in one sweep. Does that make sense? Okay, now let's... Good boy. So what I was trying to explain is when I do my lines to make sure I get them straight, I do my short one first. So I do this one into their butt. So, good lad. Good man. You're very angled. So already when I turn around, I can just put my blade at the point and I'm already going in the right direction for where I want that line. Does that make sense? Can you just back him up a couple if you will? Good boy. And then, good boy. All right, so this is hard for you. Good boy. I wouldn't normally try and be standing behind them like this. But then I just try and do one sweep all the way up. So yeah, I've missed half here, but I've got my line and that I don't have to go back and do. And that's what I'm trying not to get nitpicky about. All right? And then we got the nice little V in there. Okay? Any questions there? So that's that leg. Okay, I'm going to leave the front for now. Oh, the neck. That's everybody asks about the mane. Mounted block, that's what I needed. Okay, too many people try and do it from the ground. That's when you get mistakes. Always be up high when you do your mains, okay? Unless you're doing a miniature or a pony. So again, it's the same idea. All I'm worried about is my edge. Trying to do it in one sweep, which I'm not going to be able to. Normally I would stand in the middle and do it in one sweep, but that's going to block view from everybody. So you want to use your free hand to push the mane over and really push it down to try and lift up the hairs close to the crest. Now then, you can always take a little bit more off, but you can never put it back on, right? And then the same things with if you're clipping their face, just gently closing their eye when you're doing in between their eye sockets. So that, or cover their eye, gently close their eye. Just make sure you resist. So again, if someone was with me, I would have them cover the eye. That's the easiest thing. If I'm by myself, I might just close the eye. I might have to put my hand inside the halter and just close his eye this way to do this area. But just very gently, I'm not like pulling it down. Like, I'm literally just trying to close his eye. Probably not the safest way of doing it, but if I'm by myself, this stops. I'm going with his head if he's moving. So just to show you guys so if I'm by myself, I end up putting my hand through here and then closing his eye and then clipping. So if he moves, I'm going with, rather than having to let go all the time. And in the end, they tend to just like, okay, I'll stay there. Does that make sense? Not necessarily the safest, but that is one way I do it. Okay, how are we doing? Oh God, I thought on chest, on the head. Actually, I think we can put him away. Yeah, let's put him away. Good boy, thank you so much. He's like, this is the strangest day of my life. Huh? Strangest day of my life, yes.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah?
Is there a trick to doing the head, like where the head and neck meet, so it looks
Like, it doesn't look like there's two different body parts.
Yeah, no. So you mean like right in here?
Yeah.
Honestly, all I can tell you is, so again, have someone else hold the horse, get their head up, and it is literally just, sometimes I'll use a narrower set of blades. Like these will fit on any of my blades, and then that's just easier to get in around those places. But it really is just making sure you pull the skin and you know, lifting their head. If I'm by myself, I'm very much under here. Like basically become a contortionist and you can do it.
What's the lion, like the lion from? Like,
Okay, so people do a couple of different things. I like going right up. You'll do his head, right? Yeah. Okay, good boy. I'll actually go right up to the cheekbone. Because then I've already got my line. Is that what you're asking? Or no?
yeah, kind of either that way or like where the neck.
If you leave the head on, is that, oh, okay, sorry. I thought you meant how do you, so I'm with you. Okay, I'm not sure I have an answer. I basically try and come from the bottom here and I follow this. I follow his cheekbone up to the bottom of his ear.
Okay.
That's where I go. Okay, sorry, now I'm with you. So she was just asking me, I misunderstood originally. She was asking me, if you leave the head on but you're taking all this off, I follow this bone to create that line, is how I do it. You know, again, some horses are pole shy, you might not be able to get up there, then I would come down and come here. But typically I'm going bottom of the ear and taking this off and leaving the head like this. Does that make sense? Awesome. Yes?
If you want to keep the hair on the legs,
Yes.
but the hair on the legs are, what is your method of that? How do you
So there's a few things you can do. I actually think I have. We now have these things called blade guards. Have you seen these?
I have some, yeah.
Yeah, have you used them?
I have played with them. I'm not a master.
I'm not. Okay.
That's what you did?
Yeah. So I'm not a master. Yeah. So basically, I can't give you all I can say is I will take my blades and hold them this way and come down that way. And then I find the blade guards, especially if I want to leave hair on, for coming up over the fetlock a lot safer. I really don't have a great answer for you. Anybody do professional clipping that can answer that? She was asking how to tidy up the legs. And I don't really have a trick for you. I just come down this way and use a steady hand. Right. You know, haven't drunk the night before or anything like that. And then but these blade guards, for anyone that doesn't have a steady hand, you can get these, they're obviously really for dogs. But they are, if you don't have a steady hand, these are really good. If you have draft horses with their feathers and you want to lighten the feathers but not like take them off at all, these are great because you can. Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah. And then you just yeah, as if you were doing someone's head. Yeah. But yes, or start with the biggest one, and then you could be, I want shorter, and go down that way. Definitely. All right, here, I'll undo this. He is good to go in. Thank you very much. Good boy. Good man. Okay, so the troubleshooting so horse starts to move, I've already said, typically the blades are too hot if a horse starts to move, or the horse needs to pee. Track lines, everybody asks about track lines. Biggest thing is dirty coat, dull blades. If your blades are sort of cutting but not really, that's going to leave the track lines. And then drive shaft. How many of you have got, you've got some nice new clippers and you have this and you've got about 5 of them, or you've got these sitting around? See these little plastic things? This is the blade drive shaft. It's about $5. Most of the time, track lines are because this needs changing. Most of the time, people send their clippers in for a $75 service. I am happy to show you how to change. That was what I was meant to do. I'm happy to show you how to change this. It's super easy to change. I can't, there's no point in me doing it right here. None of you are going to see it. But don't throw them away. They do need changing. I would say if you've clipped a really thick coated horse, you're only going to, I would actually change my blade drive like probably after 2 to 3 clips. Like it is something that if you clip a lot of horses, you want to be doing it on a regular basis. But I can't tell you how much money this will save you if you actually realize that this is what you need to change. So before you go in for that service, do this.
Do you like to get your blades resharpened, or do you just throw away and buy new blades?
No, I actually get mine resharpened. Okay. I am very lucky that I have a guy that will tell me if he's like, don't bother, he tells me. He does not do it just to do it. Which I know some places they'll just, you send them in, they're going to sharpen them. But if you can, try and notch them, and then so you know how many times you've resharpened them. And most of the time I'll resharpen them probably 3 times before I'll get new blades. But I will say it's actually got quite expensive to resharpen, and you got to play up. Do I get new blades or do I resharpen? There's really, like it used to be $7 per blade. Now it's like, I think some places are $15 to $20, and you're paying $25 for some blades. So, yeah. So really, well, I use them until they literally don't clip, and then I'm like, okay, they need resharpening. I have a sharp pile and a dull pile. The end of the season, the dull pile goes to get sharpened. But yeah, literally, that's what I do. So if you've got your own horse and you know you're going to clip twice in the year, clip both those times. At the end of the year, send them in to be sharpened or something. That's legit what I would do. So like I say, if anybody's like, oh, I need to do that, I'm happy to show anybody how to do that. Any questions on care of your clipped horses? Yes.
I have a question about blades.
Blades,
How do you store your blades? We have a little, little case.
Yep.
And I think she puts oil in it.
Yep. So I just take, like that, either kitchen towel or blue shop towel, and I put the clipper oil on them, and then obviously make sure I'm clean, and then I put oil on the blade, and then wrap them up in airtight container.
They're sit in oil.
Yeah, I don't have them sit in oil, but I don't. If that's what as long as they're super.
You have to take the run off your clipper that you have on your clipper.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, any. Yes.
Did you say you could buy replacement drive shafts?
Yep. I think you have to go online. I actually don't think you can buy them in. I don't think they carry them. Thing is, it's not a well-known fact because I think they really want you to buy new clippers, right? But you can probably buy them as a. Can you buy like 10 at a time or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh.
But I did recently when I realized what they were.
Yeah. If nothing else, I've saved you guys money tonight on servicing.
So you have, are they like brand specific, like I gotta find it in this one?
Yes, I believe they are. I'm going to say yes, but I've only ever had this, so. But I would imagine they are. Yeah. So.
Just Google and this clipper shaft.
Yeah. Any other questions? I think we're all getting chilly. Any questions on aftercare with, let's say, hot toweling, making sure you curry. Everybody asks me about shoulder rubs. If you still have a horse with shoulder rubs, the one shoulder protector that I really like is from Shire's, and it's a satin material. It does not have any elastication in it. The one thing I hate about those jammies is you're then putting on something that's tight on the horse, and they wear that belly strap, and then it's rubbing the withers anyway. This one from Shire's is very loose over their shoulders. You just clip the front of your blanket through them, and then the whole thing moves with the horse. So I personally feel it must be a lot more comfortable for them. Obviously you can't really ask, but that's my favorite shoulder guard. And then just staying on top of, again, those hair spots, like using whatever hair grow product, keeping the skin soft. And then actually I'll put baby powder on those areas before I blanket, something like that, just to stop any moisture from building up there. Yes?
Tips on the static from the winter, like what you put on to prevent the static, the electricity?
Oh, the static, sorry, yeah. Funny you should ask that. Actually, so Equinature, one of World Class Grooming sponsors, carries a product called No Shock. And it's specifically, you spray it on the blanket or on the horse, and it helps prevent the static electricity from the blankets. I will say the biggest thing is how you take blankets on and off. Louis? One more time, buddy. One more time.
The way you took it off that way and that way?
Okay.
I'm starting to do that.
Okay, you need to be folding your blankets, not just swiping them off the side. I'll just do it quick. Good man. So, if you know, especially if you know, I mean, you should do it this way anyway, because this is the safer way. So there's no other way of doing it. If you fold your blankets in thirds, and then lift them off, that reduces the most static. The other thing, guys, is your blanket's ready to put back on as well, because then you can just place it back on without throwing your shoulders out. So there is reason to my madness. Oh, buddy. But yeah, but that No Shock from Equinature is a really good product. But otherwise, I think any type of, if you use, like if your horse's skin is really dry, using that oil that I was on about is really good. Yeah, so anything like that. Yes?
What's the difference between Shapley's number 1 and number 2?
The number 2 is a lot thicker. So I just use the number 1 because it's so versatile. Whereas the oil in the Shapley's, like you really have to do a proper hot, like, it's very good for bracing. Like if you put it in a 5 gallon, like a small feed bucket, and then add a good cup of that. Like if you've got a horse with super dry coat, it's really good at adding oil that way. I just, number 1, it's not too thick, it's not, I just find it covers all needs, so honestly, that's why I do that.
For like the rubs they get on the side once they've been clipped.
Say that again, sorry?
Those rubs they get on the sides where they've been clipped.
Again, yeah, you got to just keep it all moisturized, and it's literally because their coat is hollow, and it's nature, and some horses it's okay and others don't. But I think that's the biggest problem. People that get a lot of skin conditions from clipping, it's because they like overwash their horses and take the horse's natural ability away to actually deal with situations, the skin funk. And I'll always tell anybody, I'm like, oil them, or you got to do an oil brace, and not just once a day, like twice a week, do an oil brace and get their skins nice and moisture. But it's like oil moisture, it's not damp moisture. Yeah.
Using the Shapley's number 1 oil with witch hazel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Conditioner,
Yes.
even if you're not clipping.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say just use it. Have anything. I'm just trying to think. Anything else anyone can think of? Any questions? This is for you guys. Okay, are we good?